and you talked about, hey, there's things that need to be done for you to be successful in this and get to six figures. What are some of those things, those non-negotiables, activity, things that, or metrics, things that you believe need to be hit or need to be done for them to end up getting to six figures? What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and I'm excited for today's interview for several reasons. One, we're going to talk about if you ever been a part of like a 9-to-5 or an employee, or you're an entrepreneur and you want to be a successful six-figure life insurance entrepreneur, then you're going to freaking love today's episode. This individual, I'm talking 16, 17 years ago, not to date him, but man, that's a while back, as we can all agree. He was a 300K income producer, just like literally going out and earning $300,000 on his own pen almost 2 decades ago. He's going to share things that can help you become a successful entrepreneur and get to six figures as a life insurance agent. So please welcome president and founder with CFN Creative Financial Network down near Miami, Florida, Mr. Dustin Bezalel. What's up, sir?
What's up, man? Good to be on here and good to see you guys again.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. About a year ago, we did a podcast and that thing has taken off, over 10,000 views, a bunch of great comments, raving reviews. You did a really good job of sharing like the journey and how people get there. And so that's why I'm excited for today, just because you always do a good job of like giving valuable content and really helping people get to the next level. Did you, like back when you were producing at the level you were, what were some of the things that you learned or things that you're seeing now that would help someone go from being an entrepreneur in an operation to, okay, I want to be a six-figure entrepreneur on my own?
Yeah, man. So I think one of the biggest decision-making factors, if you will, is really a mindset. Somebody has to make a decision first of, do they want to do this? And when they make that decision, they can't tiptoe in the water and say, oh, is the pool water hot or cold, or
Yeah.
they got to just not touch the water and dive in and go 110% that they want to build a career in financial services and burn any other options, right? So we call it not burn a bridge is in a bad way, but but we've always talked about, like, plan B, there is no option. So when plan B is not an option and it's only to make plan A happen, which is developing a successful business in financial services, the mindset completely shifts.
Mm.
And it's a matter of making it happen, not if it will happen. So that's one. Number two, Cody, is to, I believe, and this is what has always helped me, is to surround myself with people that will uplift me, that will also give me all of the, call it, tools and resources that I need to be successful. So when I was in the
Mm.
restaurant business and I didn't know how to chop fast, I learned from a dude how to chop, and then I became quicker at it than he did, and or he was doing, and that's the business I was in prior. Um, and you got to have stamina, right? You got to have stamina. You got to have long-term mindset. You have to have an action plan every single solitary day,
Mm.
where you're putting in the reps, right? You're putting in the hard work, which is revenue producing activity that's going to move the needle, whether that's making target marketed cold calls, as I did, to business owners, attorneys, CPAs, and age qualified leads, or it's, as I know a lot of your people do, they'll door knock, or they'll go to a networking event or ask for referrals. It's not saying, okay, well, what am I? You got to move the needle. And then the last thing, man, is don't quit before the miracle happens. I believe too many times in this business, and really in life in general, people will quit before the miracle happens. And I saw a quote or a post on some social media thing, and it says, people will spend their whole lives working a 9 to 5 for somebody else, but they won't devote 2 or 3 years to building
Mm.
their business that will feed them and their families and perhaps their legacy for the rest of their life.
Amen,
So
dude.
that's
Amen.
couple of little tidbits there, probably more than you wanted, but
No, that's good, man. That's really good feedback. You know what it made me think of too is like I'm actually building a new talk right now for our Apris Nation conference in July about um, the winning mindset, and a winner's mindset. And
right.
when I think about you, you strike me as someone who has won a lot in business and life. Maybe in sports previously. You're very competitive. Like you even said, hey, I was learning how to chop, and then I became better than he is. A little competitive, right? Which I love. Um, how important is it for someone to? Do they need to be competitive and want to win to succeed at this?
I think successful people are just naturally competitive, and
Mhm.
it could be in a sport, it can be in a game. I think always wanting to win and be the best of the best is just an innate personality trait that
Yeah.
we see in this business being successful. I mean, I'm personally not motivated by obtaining certain conferences or winning a trophy. I've never been that way. It's really been money driven to give my family and I a life, but also to give back and impact others and causes and people surrounding me. But I don't ever want to be number two. I always want to be number one.
Amen. And also on that point, um, what if someone failed at another career or as an entrepreneur, maybe they're real estate or they did sales at a job or what, something, and maybe they haven't won in sales before, but
They have or have not.
have not,
Okay.
but they believe they can. What's your thoughts on working with that and helping that person and that person being able to succeed? Maybe they haven't ever won.
If we were meeting with them and entertaining them to be a financial professional within CFN, um, I would have a conversation with them on, are they coachable, and are they willing, and are they going to follow the plan, if you will, that we put together collectively, that will put them on a track record of success.
Mm,
And I'm going to ask them, if and when you don't do X, Y, and Z that's on your quote unquote daily workout plan, how do you want me to respond and hold you accountable? I don't know. I don't know, Cody. If it, I mean, yes, have we gone forward with people like that? The answer is yes. But I believe that if people have not won in sales, whether it be real estate, mortgage, whatever the business is, and then they're jumping into this business, the personality dynamic that allows somebody to be successful in real estate or mortgage business is the same in this one. Like I believe that if you or I went into another sales industry, whatever it is, let's say it's selling granite countertops, I don't know, right?
sure.
I believe that we would be successful just because we're gonna do the things that need to be done. I'd have a
Yeah.
real hard talk with that individual and saying, do you really want to do this? Because this
Mm,
is the roadmap of what you're signing up for, right? And you gotta. People say I want to, number one New Year's resolution in the United States is, well, lose weight. How do you lose weight? Diet and exercise. If somebody doesn't know what to do to diet, if they don't know what to do to exercise, there's a trillion things out there that they can plug into and find the answers for free. But if
true.
you wake up in February or March and you look at how many people that their New Year's resolution was achieved, I don't know the percentage, but I would say less are achieved than more. And it all boils down to self discipline. And we all pay a price. You pay a price to be financially fit or not, and you pay a price to be financially free or not. So that person
Mm,
that has not yet won in business or sales, if you will, I'm going to have that has tried, if you will, to do something else in sales. I'm going to have a real hard talk with them before we even to commit to one another to go in business.
yeah. Amen. I love that because what you're saying is like it's back to the whole New Year's resolution thing. It's like I need to do more of this and less of this. You know,
Right.
uh, It's
Yeah.
funny, but it also too, it's interesting because if you can't control you going for a walk or you sleeping through an alarm or you not eating garbage or you whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? What makes you think you can control yourself when you need to pick up this and it weighs 1,000 pounds and you don't feel like picking it up,
Right.
right? Like I do something new every year just for the fun of it. I just got done with 90 days of no added sugar. Hardest thing I ever.
And for you, that's impossible.
Yeah, you're right, bro. It was brutal. Like, dude, it was so hard, man. But it's again like back to the discipline of like getting, and you talked about, hey, there's things that need to be done for you to be successful in this and get to six figures. What are some of those things, those non-negotiables, activity, things that or metrics, things that you believe need to be hit or need to be done for them to end up getting to six figures?
So one is the decision mentally that this is what they want to do 100%,
Mm,
that there is no plan B. They want to develop a business for themselves in financial services. So there is no plan B. They need to have a written down financial goal, right? What income this year does that individual need to make? I used to have two numbers, a need and a want. A need was to pay bills and live lifestyle. A want is for a loftier number. And then we back into that number, which is what are the different marketing initiatives they're going to do day in, day out in order to achieve success. I'm going to dial 100 solely owned and operated pool companies. I don't know. I'm going to do 15 door knocks, whatever you guys call it. I'm going to ask 5 people for referrals. I'm going to go. There has to be, and always what it boils down to me is having 20 contacts per day, either in person or on the phone. So if I'm looking to speak with Cody, if I speak with Mary, it doesn't count as a contact. But if I speak with Cody, whether you tell me, yes, I'm willing to meet, no, I'm not, or call me back, let's keep in touch, you count, dude, as one of my 20. And from 20, I should yield a minimum of 2 scheduled meetings. So that's 10 a week. If it's 5 days, if it's 6 days, it's 12. From that, we should be meeting with half of them. So let's say it's 12 scheduled meetings, see 6 of them. A person is going to submit 2 pieces of business, right? And that's quality business that should be paid, not come off the books, etc. So that's what I've always ironed it out to be and boil it down
cool.
to.
Yeah, I can relate to that actually. As I think back to, you say 20 contacts a day, 100 a week. You're scheduling a couple meetings. Let's call it 12 meetings a week. Seeing 6 people, writing 2 pieces of business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that, I mean, that also comes into is like, how much am I going to invest in my business? Whether it's being, let's say I'm buying X amount of dollars worth of CABOOM leads, right? So that's a monthly commitment that I shouldn't make for a month. It should be a 90-day commitment that I'm going to spend 2,000 this month, 2,000 next month, 2,000 the following month. And if it's roughly, $20, it's 150 leads, or excuse me, 300 leads that I have coming in. What is the ROI on that? Those are the types of numbers that I've always backed into to work.
yep. I love that because it's like, okay, I'm making a decision, then I'm
Yep.
creating a financial goal, then I'm figuring out, okay, what metrics need to happen to hit that goal, and you're giving some really good metrics because I guarantee you, like if we surveyed the 10,000 insurance agents that'll watch us over the next few months, how many are actually talking to someone about helping them with their insurance, 20 a day. Most are not. Most are not even close. And then they wonder why
And
they're.
yeah, and dude, it's also then it's tracking your activity. So it's inspect what you inspect.
Mm,
I've shared this with you before. I track my call volume every day, my meetings every day, my recruiting interviews every day, my trainings every single week, my one-on-one with my agents and advisors, how many workouts I do, how many books I've read, how many social media recordings we've done. I track everything and I review it on Sundays. Every Sunday I do my bills And every Sunday, so there's a review of finances, and I do a review of my prior week to know, did I win or did I lose? And as long as I go 110%, meaning put it on the field, right?
Yeah.
Whether I won or not, if I did 110% and I swung the baseball bat every time the way I needed to, then I won because I know that the result will come in the future.
Yeah.
That's to me has to happen in sales, regardless of the industry, but certainly in this business.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely does. What's your favorite? You mentioned books. What's your favorite book that maybe favorite book, the best book you could recommend for a new agent to read?
So I just actually recently read. I'm so bad. You're asking me names of things.
Yeah.
I'm not good with remembering names of things. But
Um,
one that I recently read is called Uncommon by Mark Divine.
mm,
That was a really good. That was a very good book. Um, there's a Nelson Nash book called Bank on Yourself, I believe is the name of it.
yep.
But I like, and I audible. So as I'm driving in, as I'm driving home, I'm feeding my mind with positivity, and it's either product or business positivity, or it's actual fulfilling in a warm way. I
Yeah.
that's what's needed. But again, Uncommon was a really by Mark Divine was a really good book.
That's cool. I want you to think about some of the best advisors that you've ever worked with over the last few decades. Um, when you think about that, what was something unique about an advisor, something they did, or just who they were, or something, that made them exceptional and stand out head and shoulders amongst other people that they worked with?
So it's really checking the boxes of all of the things that I just fired off a few minutes ago, and they are implementing physically, emotionally, and mentally. I guess it's the same thing,
Yeah.
but they're actually doing those things day in and day out. And
Yeah.
we have and have had people that were brand new to business, right? Coming out of school, high school, whatever it was, never been in business. And we say, dude, you follow this, you're gonna make it happen. And they are, and they're doing really, 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 really well, earning into the mid six figures, right? So one is, if they have not yet won in this business, they envision and see themselves winning. They see it.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of can they, it's a matter of when will it happen. So
Mm,
they carry themselves with a sense of confidence, not cockiness, again, confidence. They all dress a certain way, they all speak a certain way, they all live upstanding lives when they're on the field and off the field. So there's nothing that they're going to say, "Oh, okay, well, this is like, it's living a life that way. Um, because they're demanding success. But again, the revenue producing activities, and they're running their business as a business, not as they're, clocking in, clocking out of a job.
yeah. It made me think about something. I was walking through the neighborhood with my pastor last night, and he said that we were talking about leaders, and Trump came up, and he said there was I forget who it was, but there was a certain female political figure that was asked about Trump, and she said that there is no world or no moment where he sees himself ever not winning. Like he sees any outcome or anything as possible, and he just constantly sees himself winning in every scenario. And back
Right.
to your point, if you can believe and start to see yourself winning and start to implement things that are causing you to actually start to win, that will build your confidence, and then you'll just start spiraling, and momentum will start, rolling, and you will start winning more. To
Right.
Dustin's point, which is cool. It's
Yeah,
really
I agree.
if they want to learn more about Creative Financial Network and you and follow you, etc., what do they do, or where do they go?
Yeah, so actually, I'll give them or you my email address. So it's Dustin DUSTINB at CFNSFL.com. You can put the link on there, and they can email us and me directly. Say, hey, here's a question, or I want to learn more. And they can definitely do some deep dive on social media, create a financial network, or go on to CFNSFL.com.
I love it. Dustin B at CFNSFL.com. Dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for being on the podcast and welcome back.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you as well.
Appreciate you, man. Also, I appreciate you guys hanging and listening. And what about the nuggets, man? I got a whole page of notes. Phenomenal job by Dustin. It makes me think about, too, when I hear this, that like the amount of value that are given on our YouTube channel through some of our relationships will also be happening in Plano, Texas, near Dallas at our 8% conference 2025 coming up quick. If you haven't got your tickets yet, it's in 77 days as of recording of this podcast. Go to 8%nation.com to learn about the conference. And as always, keep watching, sharing, follow Dustin and CFN and what they're doing. We will see you on the next episode of the Power Player Podcast. Kaboom.